the veterans statewide. Thank you.
He was on me. He was on me.
Sorry about your luck.
No, you got a spot for that.
I got a spot for that.
Distinct pleasure to congratulate you on being honored as the first annual Recognition Awards dinner hosted by the American Legion Auxiliary, hosted by the American Legion Post 199. Your previous work as an auxiliary president and lifetime dedication to the American Legion in Florida is truly commendable. As the nation's largest wartime veterans service organization, you should be most proud of the tremendous work that the Legion does for our country. Your selection amidst roughly 100,000 members is proof of your dedicated service to your fellow veterans. Furthermore, through your strength and courage, you have helped pave the way for African American women in the Legion. I am sorry I could not join you at this event, but please do accept my most sincere gratitude and appreciation for your service to veterans in South Florida and to this nation. With warm personal regards, I remain sincerely yours, Al C. Hastings, Member of Congress. We are most humble this evening as we recognize Mrs. Alberta Floyd. For the many years she has provided dedicated and faithful service to this organization, both Post 199 and the American Legion Auxiliary. For Mrs. Floyd, it's always been about serving others. It's always been about equity and equality. It's always been about freedom, justice, and democracy. Many of you may not know that when her husband went off to war, he never came back. She had those babies at home that she had to raise alone. And in addition to raising those babies into the fine adult citizens they became, she found time to reach out to others who did not come home from war, the families of other veterans, and provide for veterans who did come home without a leg, without an arm, damaged in some way. Mrs. Floyd made trips to the Veterans Hospital as she handmade lap rolls, as she took toiletries, which she has us doing to this day. She has taught us how to go to the hotels and collect the soaps and lotions and shampoos and bring them back in little baggies and give them to the homeless veterans shelter. She's always been about cooking fish to raise money for this post. She's always been about washing dishes and collecting t-shirts and clothes and collecting all sorts of items as washcloths and towels and sheets and dishes and magazines. She now has us collecting teddy bears for children and packing Halloween bags for treats for children. She has us packing canned goods for Thanksgiving baskets. She has us remembering breast cancer awareness that we just did in our last meeting, and providing pins to the ladies, but also providing knowledge to check ourselves. And to remember that not just women get breast cancer, men have breast cancer too. Mrs. Floyd has been the impetus for our moving forward, for our going on when we're tired and we don't want to go on. So every month there is a project here for the American Legion Auxiliary. because she is determined that this organization will last and last and last. So tonight we honor her. Will you please bring the honoree forward? And I'm going to ask my Vice President, Ms. Gilbert, if she will bring the plaque forward for Mrs. Floyd. Mrs. Floyd is 93 years old. The ladies in this organization pass on. She has a sister who's in a nursing home that she visits, but she's reaching out for the young blood to keep the lifeline going. We want you to know how much we love you and appreciate you. So tonight, 199 Post decided to have this special occasion and donate this plaque in your honor. It reads, American Legion Post 199, presented to past State President Alberta Floyd, first African American past State President of Women's Auxiliary of the American Legion of Florida, October 18th, 2013. Commander Miller and all of the American Legion Post members, would you please stand as we thank you for this tribute?
To each of you that took the time to be here tonight, when more than just me, but I'll speak for me, received not what I expected, but your way of saying thank you. 45 years ago, when I was finding my rightful place in this city, Bessie Epps insisted that I come to meeting. I was already involved, but I did come to meeting. And that night, I was elected, knowing nothing about the auxiliary, as vice president. And 3 weeks later, Bessie Epps fell and broke her ankle. Then I had to learn fast. We'll find a way to do it.
Yes, sir.
And the more I got involved, the more Emma Stocks was my traveling partner. We saw things we needed to move up. And where we are today, we have come a long way to what Thelma Stocks and I had to face over the state of Florida. But however, I don't regret it. But I am glad that I did live to see the results. And when my prayers, I can share with the people that work with me, my sister-in-law, who we did fish fries every Friday night. And don't think we didn't help the American Legion with the finances. We did it until she got sick and passed. So we have accomplished so much, and yet nothing to brag about. And I want to thank each of you who took the time to come and share with me these moments. Thank you very much.
I appreciate
you coming out here tonight to help us celebrate this occasion for the two most wonderful people in the world that I've known and met. The gentleman that I'm going to talk about now, it's a lot of things I know, and a lot of things I've done, but he have corrected me on a lot of them when I was going down the wrong way, that when I didn't care. So, but Frank Reese, he's quite a man in the Legion. I wasn't even thinking about no Legion. I had been out the service, I wasn't thinking about it, but he used to say, when they were selling fish, he said, why don't you join the Legion? And I used to say, for what? But then he kept on talking to me that I finally joined. And that was one of the best things that I could have done. When Frank got ready to run for president the first time, we was over in Orlando. I'll never forget that. We had the hospitality room. We kept a big, nice hospitality room. And we had this group, I think it was from Winter Park or Winter Garden, somewhere over there around Orlando. They came in there and sang and blowing their harps and whistles and drinking our liquor, and told Frank, you our next department commander. And so when they got through drinking and blowing their whistles, they walked out. And I'll never forget that song that they sang when they was going out. It was quite a song. So after that, we went down there for the vote. And the same group that said they was going to do all this voting for Frank, we got down there, it didn't work out that way. He was running against this gentleman, Comrade Proctor. But the song that they were singing, I didn't tell you, was when the Saints Go Marching In. That's the song they sang. And we just know Frank had it. But they didn't go marching in for Frank, they went marching in for Proctor. But it come the next year, Frank ran again. He didn't have any trouble. Because they was all for him then the first time, but about Proctor beat him out by those small margin of votes. But what I can truthfully say, Frank is a legionnaire of heart for everybody. Because I know I used to come come down to the Legion. We done had a few Jack Daniel Black. But Frank go home, and so I'd be down here about 2 o'clock. I would go by there and call Frank, 2 a.m. in the morning. I say, Frank, come on, man, I want some breakfast. You need to go home. I say, Frank, I need some breakfast. He would get up, and we would go to the Wags restaurant. And we would eat breakfast about 6 o'clock that morning. He would eat too. But as I can truthfully say, he was a gentleman and a scholar. Somebody who was truthful for the Legionnaires. He fought hard for the Legionnaires. And this letter I have here was similar to the one that Miss Peppers read for Miss Floyd. But the wording is a little different. It says, Dear Frank, I write to congratulate you for being honored at the first annual recognition awards dinner hosted by the American Legion Post 199. Your previous work as the state commander and lifetime dedication to the American Legion in Florida are truly noteworthy. As the nation's largest wartime veteran service organization, you should be very proud of the admirable work the Legion does each and every single day for our country. Your selection of Miss Rutflake, 100,000 members, is proof of your hard work and dedication to your fellow veterans. You have paved the way for African American men in the Legion, and your courage and determination serve as a reminder of the work that we still have to do as a nation. While I'm sorry that I could not be present at the event, please accept my deepest gratitude and appreciation for your commitment to veterans in South Florida and nationwide. Your service in the Air Force during the Korean War and your continued commitment to your fellow veterans must be commended. With warm personal regards, I remain, sincerely, L.C. Hastings, Member of Congress.